The Grim Reaper Gamers are a 25 and over gaming community with members spanning the globe, playing games across all genres, but our roots are in first-person shooters. Bring your thick skin, drink of choice, and grab your controllers. GRG members are on nightly with official community nights every Wednesday. And now, it's time for the ReaperCast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Grim Reaper Gamers ReaperCast. I'm your host tonight. I am Johnny Hustler, and with me tonight we have what's kind of become the typical group of four, it seems, in the second chair. My co-host, who thinks he saw a FedEx truck during the Expanse last night. He's played Elite so much, he's seen it on other forms of media. Jammer, how the hell are you? What you drinking and what you playing?
I'll tell you, Johnny, even the third time through, your intro just really not there tonight. You're on the weak side. There literally was a FedEx in the Expanse last night. So my point has been proven, and Lala can suck it. So I've been playing some Elite. I've been playing some Forza Horizon 3. I've been playing Conan, which just came out, and I've jumped around naked with Johnny, and it's a really good time. We've had our little lightsaber fights, and it's been really enjoyable. So good times.
Somebody's going to clip that audio, and we're going to get fired over it.
Yes. I'm not judging.
In the third chair, the grimmest of all Reapers, the man that runs the site. Well, says he runs the site, but the fourth chair actually really runs the site. Tonight, Jack Lala Calamari, how the hell are you, buddy? What you drinking? What you playing?
I'm doing fine. Currently drinking some Boston Lager. If you ever had Sam Adams, not Boston Lager, Brooklyn Lager. I knew I'd get it wrong. It's just like Boston Lager. It's a pretty good beer. Currently playing
that around here.
Brooklyn beers. Brooklyn Brewery is a pretty solid brewery. So if you see any of their beers, definitely pick it up. Currently playing Battlefield 1 as usual. A lot of Forza Horizon 3, and and of course Elder Scrolls. So,
man,
I'm gonna play that with you tomorrow night.
No, I'm gonna play Space FedEx. Just a quick, how much did FedEx pay to be on the Expanse? Do you think?
Yeah, I don't know how highly rated that. I mean, that show's popular, but I don't know how highly rated it is. So I can't imagine it costs that much money.
Well, it's rated high for sci-fi, but it's not a that's still kind of a blip on the radar for other cable shows.
Yeah. I wanted to
as much.
Yeah,
as EMC paid to be in 24.
Yeah,
I only got 2 episodes.
I wanted to call Jack up when I saw it and be like, "Take that." Because he makes fun of me all the time, but I make good money, with my delivery system.
Yes, it's a very exciting game. Take off, land, collect credits.
But I do it with style.
Brown shorts and all.
Well, not in Conan.
Not brown shorts if he's FedEx. It's blue.
No short. Well, that's true. No shorts in Conan. And in the fourth chair, he got himself a new mic, so he's decided to join us a whole lot more. The guy that really runs the site, Grex, how the hell are you? What you drinking? What you playing?
I am drinking Sam Winter Lager. And what am I playing? I'm still doing Monday Night Titanfall. So it's been fun. Battlefield, and recently now Conan. And I'm only on this show just so I can test out my mic.
That Sam, that Winter Lager is completely sold out in this area. You can't even find it anywhere. I kind of liked it this year. It was pretty solid.
They're already going to spring. They do it in cycles like that. But hey, John, I got to actually meet Kahura, our famous member Kahura.
Mm-hmm.
I got to meet her. She showed up to my hut with no pants.
Who's that?
On. Kahura.
Who's that?
She's a famous member of the site.
Is that a member?
Yeah. She's our next member spot. Actually, can we do a getting to know you of Kahura and ask Grex questions?
I've seen pictures of her, and it reminds me of the Playboys I found in the woods as a kid back in the 80s. I mean, she's woofing.
She sure is easy because she showed up with no pants. She had a top on, but she's like, "Hey, I got no pants on."
She didn't want to show off the scars from the boob job.
Oh my God. Well, I am drinking the usual jalapeno ale from our nearby Kincaid Brewery, and I have been playing Conan ever since that sucker came out. Or as we could probably call it, Wang Simulator 2000. We'll talk a little more about that game later. It is a damn interesting early access game. Just came out on PC. So, let's talk about the community night calendar. As usual, you can find our community night events in detail on grimreapergamers.com/events. Here's a brief overview. As Grex mentioned, Monday nights are Titanfall 2 night. How was the last Titanfall night, Grex?
Pretty decent. We usually end up getting a full room, at least a full party of 8. We'll try and go public, but usually we end up going into private rooms.
Very good. Always a big event, especially for Monday nights. Turned into a real big thing. Wednesday night, as always, is our community night. And Battlefield 1 and Conan were the games du jour this week. Battlefield 1 has been still pretty popular, right, Jack? Still a big full room?
Oh, yeah. We were our party was completely full, as usual. We had several squads. I think we had 3 full squads and an extra couple guys floating around the entire night. So,
and I'll say on the Conan side, John, we're more, our community is more console based than PC based, though that's built a little bit. But considering that, we've actually had a pretty good number nightly playing Conan with us. 6 to 10 a night when our community is mainly console.
And that's growing. That's growing because I know a few guys are still they're downloading the game, they're getting on the server. So
yeah,
where is the server?
2 or 3 tonight?
Yeah. Where is the server?
I don't know.
Somewhere on Steam.
Yeah, I wish there was some place you can go and look up that information.
Someone should make a thread about that.
Someone should.
Hey,
5 of them.
And I think we do have a thread over at forums.grimreapergamers.com. So check out the forums.
With GRG members, you can make 50 forum posts. They still won't see it.
But yeah, we picked up at least 2 or 3 tonight even playing it. So, and I see right now there are 5 in the All Hail Crom room on our Discord chat. So there are 5 guys playing right now.
5 right now. There's the 3 of us, and then there's some other guys that aren't on right now. So yeah, we're over 10 to 15 now.
Yeah, we're moving 10 to 15. Not bad for a small PC gaming community.
Yeah.
And how does the Discord voice working? So you guys
great.
I thought it worked great for the game. Yeah. I mean, we had what, 8 to 10 in on release night on Tuesday.
Yeah, no issues.
Yeah, I mean it was smooth. So Friday nights, get your drink on and play some Battlefield 1 or Titanfall 2. We have rooms of both going on Friday nights, and drinking is heavily encouraged, if not required. And Sunday driving, we're going to take a break for Super Bowl Sunday. Eat that, Goodell. And
that's not what the notes say.
I don't care what the notes say. I don't like Adele. Screw him.
I met him.
So, yeah, lucky you.
I know.
I was disappointed you didn't punch him for me.
I got my picture taken with him even. It was at a Sirius XM town hall. I got to ask him a question even. He's my buddy.
Oh, man. I wouldn't admit that myself, but
Johnny doesn't like any commissioners.
I think he's just a bad commissioner. Anyway, we'll resume on the 12th for Forza Horizon 3. Been having a lot of fun with that, guys.
Yeah, that's been going pretty well. I'm surprised at the how that took off because we were kind of just looking for something different to do, a break from shooters, just a night to kind of goof around, have some fun. Unfortunately, we all kind of stink at Forza Horizon, so we're on the same level. So we pick a few different cars. We've been racing it, so we'll pick like muscle cars or rally cars or trucks or something, and everybody's got to come up with their own car, and they show up to the event. And we do our best. Usually you have beers or somebody smashing into me and knocking me out of first place, but I think we had 9 the last racing night. So yeah, once again, we were kind of looking forward to doing it again this week, but you have the Brady Ball coming up, so we're just going to we're going to pick up the next week.
It's pretty amazing that with that game, how it draws you to always want more and more cars. It's like I have like 70 cars now. And it's like, I'm never going to drive all of them, but it just builds you that you know, those Forza games where you just want as many cars as you can get.
Oh, it's stupid. Like I had the BMW sale last week, and I wound up buying every BMW except for the one I just couldn't afford. I ran out of money. It was the 1M, but I'll get that eventually. So I'm like, I got to get them all. I got to collect them all. I got to have every BMW, and I do. And I might not race them, but whatever.
It's interesting that they are able to pull that out of people, where you just feel the need that I need that car too.
Yeah, it's it seems to hit the collector's aspect, kind of, or even borderline hoarders aspect of gaming. So, and
if you and I really, if you're looking to play, if you're looking for something different, you want to break up the shooter monotony, get the game, hop into our room. It's all for fun, and we're all pretty much in the same level. Enyo or / Ghostwalkers, he usually winds up running the room because he's the one that can actually figure out the menus. And we've been putting together some pretty good races, so it's definitely worth coming out and having a few drinks and running around the course a few times.
And it's kind of funny how we're talking about various games here. We've always been kind of a shooter group, but we're really only talking about 2 shooters and a lot of survival and MMO and racing even. Not to mention Madden, the Madden league that's going on. So been rather interesting to see how it's evolved. We talked about that last show. So again, if you want to check out what else is going on, go over to grimreapergamers.com/events, or even check the forums at forums.grimreapergamers.com. All right, gaming news. Got a little bit of news going on here. First thing going on with Battlefield 1, the They Shall Not Pass DLC, which looks like it is it centers around the Battle of Verdun, and it adds new maps, new weapons, and the French army faction in there is now is being added to the list of factions that you can play as. This is the first major DLC for Battlefield 1 for those who have Season Pass, or those who will buy 2 weeks later, I think it is.
Yeah, it's
2 weeks after Premium.
Yeah, 2 weeks after Premium. They had the one free map that they gave out to everybody. I forget the name of it offhand. But this is the first actual paid DLC that they're releasing. It's 5 months.
Right, yeah.
You're looking at it took forever for this to come out, like 5 months after the game's release. We needed this sooner because I don't think Battlefield really came with that many maps. Some of them aren't that good. Like Suez is just a garbage map. They ought to just throw it away. But this, I'm looking for. They have four new maps. Obviously, with the French army, they're going to introduce some new weapons, some new behemoths. So it should be fun to play. I still enjoy the game. I like it. And
new elite class.
Oh yes, a new elite class in there. It's gonna be interesting. Looking at the screenshots on Battlefield's blog about this, the pictures of the Battle of Verdun and the pictures of Fort Vaux and the Battle of Soissons. They're, really intricate, really, kind of got that intricacy that the other maps have. And man, I'll tell you what, they look desolate as hell.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, they have a new game mode coming out as well called Frontlines. And it's supposed to be a combination of Conquest and Rush. And it looks, from the sounds of it, it reminds me of an old game called Day of Defeat, where basically you had 5 points to capture, and you kind of had to push an enemy. It was pretty much a straight line almost, and you had to capture each one until you got the last one by the enemy's base. And that's kind of what this sounds like. So
yeah, almost a reverse tug of war.
Yes,
where you're actually making the push instead of trying to pull everybody your direction. So
yep.
That'll be interesting. I have not played. I've seen other games that have had that in there, but I have not played that kind of game type myself. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they incorporate that into Battlefield.
I'll say the good thing, it seems, with Battlefield players is most people seem to go premium. We always talk about once map packs come out, how it kind of segregates the community. And I think that happens more with Call of Duty with the season passes than it does with Battlefield. It seems like most people go ahead and get premium all the time with Battlefield.
I got premium strictly to get in the premium queue for maps.
You mean you didn't get your own queue from being, a big time gaming
Well, I have
website?
I've called up Dice, and I think I get a battle pack after every round. So,
all right,
that's my little bonus.
But it doesn't seem that when map packs come out for Battlefield, it doesn't like when we have a group playing that we have that as much segregation as with Call of Duty, where it would be like, well, I don't have these maps, so you couldn't then play them.
I think the gamers stick to that title a little bit longer than the others. So,
well, they stick to it, and I think the premium is supported better than your average season pass. I mean, it's it's about the only season pass I get anymore.
Well,
the Division, though, yeah.
I got that one on sale.
What level are you?
Let's not talk about it.
Okay.
Well, I think in Battlefield, if you don't have a map, like if someone in the room doesn't have a map, it's just not going to pull the map up in the rotation. Whereas Call of Duty is still going to pull the map up and kick the guy out of the room.
Yeah,
that game's a turd.
We have a tournament. Oh my god. So yeah, that's coming soon. Like we said, 2 weeks earlier for that comes in March. It's going to be 2 weeks earlier for premium access players. And on to other gaming, another shooter. Well, I don't know. This is going to be like a shooter, maybe shooter kind of role-playing type of aspect. This one's kind of interesting. Apocalypse Now. Francis Ford Coppola announced a Kickstarter for Apocalypse Now. He's making a game based off of the movie. Now, what's interesting about this is he's pulled gaming veterans from titles like Fallout New Vegas, Wasteland 2, Far Cry, and other role players to do a role-playing shooter version of this adaptation from this movie. Right now, $156,000 plus out of the $900,000 goal with 21 days to go. Probably looks like it's going to make it. I would guess about almost 2,500 backers. Kind of the weirdest. It kind of came out of nowhere.
Well,
actually,
I got 2 points to this. A, Francis Ford Coppola's got plenty of dough, right?
Yeah.
We don't. If he wants something to go through, he doesn't really need a Kickstarter to do that. I mean, greatest movies of all time, back in the 70s, with the Godfather series alone. Secondly, Apocalypse Now was 1979. That movie. I mean, we were kids when that movie came out. So who are you catering to? Who's been jonesing for an Apocalypse Now game? People that are 10 to 20 years older than us, they're not. There's not as many gamers unless you're Hawk, who's like 90.
Like I said before the show, they're coming out with the Deer Hunter following this. So
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I don't understand it. I've never heard anybody say, "Boy, yeah, we need that game."
And you touched on a point. Like, just imagine if Kurt Schilling's game, they had Kickstarter then. He probably could get the money he needed to finish his game.
Instead of stealing it from Rhode Island?
Yes, instead of stealing it from Rhode Island.
Could have stole it from the fans.
Could have stole it from the fans. Well, that's all Kickstarter is. How many Kickstarters actually follow through? I mean, you see something advertised and it never comes to market. I don't know. I mean, I saw one today that I'm kind of interested in, a Kickstarter. It was for growlers, for beer growlers. And there's a refrigerator and a tap system. You put your growler in and it preserves the beer and it pours out like a tap. And I'm like, well, that is pretty cool. I like that a lot. But I still wouldn't buy the Kickstarter. I think I'd have to wait until it's actually officially released.
Yeah, I'm not a Kickstarter person. Yeah.
No, I don't think I spent $1 on Kickstarter.
But he doesn't need it. He's got the money.
Well, why spend his money? He'll spend your money.
Yeah.
Develop the game.
Well, let's face it. Who opened the door for this one? The space game, I want to say
Star Citizen. That's ridiculous.
Star Citizen. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I want to say
Vaporware.
Star Commander, but that's Wing Commander. Ooh, I got them combined there. I mean, what, 30 some or millions of bucks? What, 8 digits? Tens of millions that it's raised off of Kickstarter.
Hundreds, isn't it?
Is it up to hundreds of millions? I think last I knew it was like 70, 80 million, but
I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but now everybody wants to throw a Kickstarter out.
I might start a Kickstarter for GRG.
It's great. I mean,
Just do a GoFundMe page.
I'll do both.
there's an article for December 14th of last year. No, 2015. So 2016. So a year ago, December 14th, 2015, it hit 100 million in crowdfunding.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So over a year ago. Yeah. Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, I have no interest in this apocalypse now. I don't know.
I have 5 copies.
I'd have to see some game video before I even consider it or think about it. You know,
I just, the movie was kind of trippy.
The movie was great, but it was,
Oh, it was, but I mean, it was trippy. It's just going to be interesting to see how it translates to a game.
I have to see a Platoon movie, a Platoon game.
It's just going to be another Vietnam era shooter.
Yeah.
It's just going to have the Apocalypse Now label on it.
I want a Full Metal Jacket one, and then we can determine who's going to be a pile.
Oh, God.
We lost our pile. We need a new one.
Yes, we did.
Oh, no.
All right, on to further news. Digital Foundry got a hold of a leaked spec for Xbox Scorpio, and a little bit of interesting news coming out of this. First off, it looks like the ESRAM is gone. The what some people thought was the bottleneck for developing for Xbox One, although in their spec they do mention that you have to program for it because you're still programming for the other versions of Xbox One, which still has it. 6 teraflops seems to be confirmed, and it's likely an AMD Jaguar core, which is more your FX processor than the Ryzen core that's coming out next month. Other information included in there is that apparently or supposedly Microsoft has taken the capability of the high fidelity VR off of their webpage, talking about Scorpio. And some sources are claiming that the 4K gaming may not be native at all, but it may be more upscaled like the PS4 Pro.
Now, see, what I've been reading about the 4K was the games won't be playing in 4K. The games will be HDR ready, but 4K will be for entertainment. So I'd be curious because there's no way. I mean, I think they say that the card's going to be equivalent to like a 1070, and can that do the 4K gaming or?
Yeah, it can. I mean, 1060, 1070 can do 4K, not at the highest. 1070 at higher resolution than 1060, but both are capable of 4K.
Yeah, from what I read, though, they were saying it was mostly for the entertainment. So we'll see if it's for the gaming. I think they were talking about the VR. They're dumping that because I don't think they like any of the hardware that goes along with VR yet, like Oculus Rift and stuff like that. There were some issues with that. So they say maybe, from what I was reading, maybe about 2 years down the line, maybe 3 years.
And what was it? Oculus Rift and Facebook got hit by ZeniMax for, what was that, $500 million in a lawsuit? So they lost, or the initial judgment was against them for $500 million.
I think the only thing that I would like the virtual reality for would be a game like Forza, where you're sitting in the car and you can kind of look around. You can sit and have the cockpit view and you can look around. But if I'm playing Call of Duty or Battlefield, I'm not running around my goddamn living room with the controller. That's just not. I'm a lazy fat ass. I'm gonna sit my ass on the couch and play.
This is the point to me where anytime with new technology coming out, it comes out with when there's a new iPhones and all this stuff. I hate this part of it. This leak here and this leak here, and people are just making shit up. And there's so many different sources nowadays that can just randomly make shit up. That
alternative facts.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think most of it's all based off some old white paper that they had submitted with their, the patent filing.
Yeah. Now, sometimes on the other side, companies will purposely leak shit out.
Oh, sure.
To get feedback from their audience out there.
Typing.
Every day you can look and see, this leak here and that. And it's like, yeah, whatever. When the specs are there, I'm gonna, go ahead. Jack, are you okay?
No.
Because Tomato Meter's grabbing a stress ball. I don't think we've done anything wrong yet.
No, it's not stress, it's a ball.
Oh, all right. I get worried. I'm like, oh yeah.
Here's my thing with the Scorpio, though.
He's getting ready to talk about Conan.
Conan, yeah. So you have this system. It's going to be, so much better than Xbox One and Xbox S. But will they take advantage of it? Like when you create a game, it doesn't sound like they're going to create exclusives just for Scorpio.
They made it clear they weren't.
So I remember getting the Sega and then getting, what was the 32X or whatever it was, and there was like, 5 games for it. So,
Yep.
you know, will they take advantage of it? Like, how will they take advantage of it? So I'm kind of curious to see how that pans out, and hopefully there'll be a decent trade-in when it comes out, so I can trade in my S and get it. But
I think I've seen some speculation on a couple other sites about this, and I think this is kind of where they're going to go. It's going to become a lot more like PC gaming, where eventually older hardware gets left by the wayside. You know, eventually we'll get to games that the Xbox One and the One S can't handle. Scorpio will be the lower end, and then you'll have the higher stuff, and it'll get, you know, it'll just keep kind of climbing and climbing. And as the generation progresses, because we don't really have cut and dried generations anymore, you just have to get that a console in that span of what's supported.
It makes sense since they run Win 10 basically, so it's the same type of concept as a PC. They basically are making a Steam box.
Kind of, except for you don't have as much control over the hardware as you do with some of those. So, okay, couple more bits of news here. Well, one more bit of news, and then we kind of transition to our roundtable. Elder Scrolls Online has announced the Morrowind expansion. So I'm going to guess this one's going to be huge. I mean, they're going to be incorporating Morrowind into Elder Scrolls Online's mythology now, bringing Skyrim and the very popular Morrowind together in the game. Jack, I'm going to hand this one over to you because you're a big ESO guy.
Yeah, this is I do enjoy this title. This is probably one of my favorite MMOs to play. Maybe Guild Wars was above it, but whatever. This is a major expansion. This isn't like one of their little DLCs they release that you get with the crown points. This is going to be a major addition to the game. They were saying the price was at $40 outright. So if you already have ESO, it's $40 to upgrade to this expansion pack, or you can buy a $60 version with the base game of Elder Scrolls and Morrowind.
You know, that's not bad considering how expansive Morrowind was, and if they put that same expansiveness to it, that's going to be a pretty decent price for it.
Yeah, I'm expecting this to be a massive. They're saying 30 hours for the main storyline, so that's just the main storyline of content, 30 hours, and I believe it. I mean, this Elder Scrolls is massive. It's a huge game. It's if you're looking for an MMO to sink your teeth into, I mean, this is one. They're adding a new class, Warden. It has a bear, and it reminds me of like a ranger from like other MMOs, but how Elder Scroll handled classes is a little bit odd. So they're also going to be introducing a new PvP mode, 4 versus 4 versus 4. It's a 3-way battle, so a small scale PvP, and I think that's it. So, but it's going to be exciting. I think it's coming out. Oh, they didn't have a release date yet for it, I think.
I didn't see one.
I thought it was summer. I thought I saw something.
Oh,
about,
June
like,
6th.
summer.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's June 6th.
Oh,
yes.
okay. I didn't even.
Yeah.
I think I saw summer, but I didn't see anything
It's
specific.
D-Day.
Yeah,
It's when I got married. So June 6th.
Oh, no wonder you want to forget it.
Yeah.
To me, like, this is the way to go when you have like a game like the Elder Scrolls type of game. Just keep opening up more land, in a sense, with these expansions. A lot of people are, they're buying a game. A lot of people subscribe here and there, and then put on these major expansions and keep the core game, and open up. Now here's this land, and then down the road open up this land.
And let's face it, you're looking at probably the most. I would argue Morrowind was probably even a little more popular than Skyrim. I mean, it could be neck and neck, but Morrowind was huge with gamers. And very popular in the Elder Scrolls mythology. So this has been very anticipated.
Yeah, they're putting a whole new faction area in too for Morrowind, right?
Lala.
A whole what? I'm sorry.
Faction area. There's a whole new faction area as well, right?
Not that I have no idea. No, I didn't see that.
Oh, I thought they mentioned it, but this is something where the Division fell down big time. Was adding new areas, and we were always hoping that they expand in New York that way, like they're doing with ESO. But
I would have liked the Division to open up Long Island.
I think they are with the 1.6. They're gonna for the Dark Zone. They're gonna add a few more zones. So
I can go to Long Island.
I don't know if it's a Long Island. Be careful because there's Never mind. We won't go there.
Yeah, but even I'm sorry.
Oh.
Even for me, it's a $40 for the amount of content. It's a no-brainer if you enjoy that type of game.
Yeah, it's a steal, and they've done a pretty good job. I think when they first initially released, the game had some issues and some problems, and they've addressed it. And they're constantly updating, and they're not afraid to change stuff. So they're making big changes. They're adding housing. They added the one Tamriel, so anybody can go anywhere, and doesn't matter what faction you're in or what level you are. So they're doing a pretty good job of fixing the initial issues they had. So I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be pretty good.
All right, so that'll be something. I mean, we got a good base of players for Elder Scrolls that I'm sure we'll be getting back into that this summer. So looking forward to that one as well. And then the big release this week. Well, it depends on how you set your slider. How big this release was. Conan Exiles came out. Big survival game in the Conan the Barbarian universe. Arc-like. Got some major differences. Optimization is one of them. Came out on PC on Tuesday and releases in the summer or late spring, early summer, I believe, for Xbox One. So early access, $30 title. We have, like we mentioned, we have a pretty strong base for the fact that we don't have a whole lot of PC players. Pretty strong base already playing Conan. And they're highly controversial and much talked about endowment meter. So.
Yeah, Grex, what's the endowment meter do on Kahura? Because there's a breast size and then there's an endowment one. Well, there's a breast size though. So what's his endowment?
There is
size?
one. I don't know, but it's usually
He's lying.
out, I think, right now.
Lies. He played with it.
Maybe that's the Bush meter.
I will, yeah, the Bush meter. I will say about the game a couple things. One, minus the dinosaurs, it's very Ark looking.
Very much so.
You can see.
I would say better Arc optimized though. I mean, I run it a lot higher, easier on my video card.
Yeah, well, it's not populating all those dinosaurs right now either.
Oh, that's true.
For being an early access game, and now granted we're on a server. First night out, flawless. Haven't seen a bunch of problems. They're updating it a lot, and it's been fun. It's fun. I wonder for you, John, being an Ark player, I think Farmer has gone back and forth on this. Farmer liked the dinosaur aspect of Ark, and that's not here. I mean, there are animals out there, and there's other NPCs, and apparently there's cities and everything. And Didge already has some poor schmuck pushing a wheel around in a circle now that he captured. So you could enslave people and all that type of stuff that GRG likes to do, and shit. We got an hour of time of us running around naked, jumping up and down, and just crying with laughter because we're all little immature kids.
Yeah, we're suddenly back in middle school, a bunch of 40-something middle-aged guys. Yeah, but parents, professionals.
You pumped in a ton of hours into Ark. So for you, do you miss the dinosaurs?
I do, but the best I saw when I was trying to get some ideas, I was watching a couple Twitch streams trying to get some ideas for building the other day or yesterday. I was trying to get some ideas, and I caught the best description of the differences between the two games and why each one has its own place. Ark is more for the Beastmaster style of playing, where tame the animals, you get to run command of them, you get to run roughshod. You're just a single individual with a bunch of animals at your disposal at your will. For those who remember the old Campy B movie, where Conan is more, a little more faithful to the universe. It's more about the battle. It's more about the, the factions and getting together in a small tribe and battling it out with the environment and other players. Plus you have the NPC tribes that you have to contend with, even if you all get together or, you just have a few people on your server. So the two aspects, I think they each do their own thing well. And I think that's the big difference for Conan, is that you have these other factors involved, the NPCs, the animals. It's more battle oriented than Ark was. Ark is more about the taming and the mastery.
I like having the NPCs because on the Ark server when I was with you guys, I had a lot of fun, but it's just the four of us building our houses and capturing animals, and we didn't have to worry. Besides an animal, we didn't have to worry about some NPC tribe, coming in. So
without a mod, there are mods that actually do that.
You missed out when we first got Ark, when it first released. We were playing on the public servers, and that was more of you had 150 people. How much was in Ark at the beginning? 100, or maybe it was like 70, 80.
It was 70. It was 70 at first.
70 online at first, but it was the max connections going to have at one time. So you had people there 24/7, and you're on a public environment, so you had to contend with people at all different time zones and stuff. So that made that game, I thought that was kind of interesting for that. I don't know if I would handle a private server with just 4 or 5 people playing as well. But
Conan has official servers too that are like that, and they had initially had a max cap of 70, but they pulled it back on release night to 40 per server. But I think they knocked it back up to 70 now. But yeah, they were having some issues with their official servers. Since we had a private server, we kind of didn't see that, but I can see how that can get kind of nasty.
The only thing is when I look at the map, it doesn't appear to be that big.
Oh, it's big.
Yeah. Well, Johnny sure made sure his was big. So he's got a corn cob dangling around over there.
The penile windsock. That was the description I heard the first day. Just floored me. Yeah, that and what's kind of bad is that I think it's a lot of what's great about the game is getting overshadowed by, no pun intended, by the endowment meter that they're that everybody's talking about with this. So hopefully gameplay doesn't get overshadowed by that for much longer, because it is a great game. So
I do want to make one comment. I'm sorry before you go in on that though, just to annoy Jack. But if you're listening to this though, and the nudity part is concerned, you got kids like me. I'm worried about my kids walking around, and I got my little wang, flopping around. That you can change that setting and have like a loincloth,
to where you don't allow nudity. Yeah.
So I don't want to discourage somebody if they're hearing us because we talk like we're little kids, and know that you can not have the nudity.
All I know is I checked Discord, and on the NSFW channel, it is frightening the things I'm seeing. Frightening. That's all I got to say about this. I saw Kohora, and she looks like she has a Wookiee down below. So.
You should see what I did to Kohoro in her hut while she was sleeping just a few minutes ago.
All right. And Conan actually brings us to our first roundtable topic tonight. And that is, has the survival genre become too flooded? Because now we got Rust, DayZ, 7 Days to Die, Ark, Conan now, numerous others, Astroneer, No Man's Sky was supposedly in this, but kind of fucked it up. A lot of these games now hitting the survival genre in various formats, whether science fiction, fantasy, whatever. And with some of our endowment meters, extreme fantasy. Has everything started getting kind of flooded here? Have we seen too much? Is it getting to be like the shooter genre over the last 5 years?
Yeah, that you kind of stole, because this was one of the topics I actually did some work for once. That's all right. I thought of, this was something I thought of, because when you go on Steam now, the amount of survival games on there is ridiculous.
Oh God,
it's more of a PC side than a console side right now. But it made me think, like years ago, because we talked about this on a show not too long ago, I don't think. That where shooters, it used to have a different shooter out like every other week, and that's kind of what we're seeing now with the survival genre taking on, and Conan's they're using that endowment thing to try and be noticed. but it's getting to the point. They're all this. It's all the same type of concept. So like Rust gets a really bad reputation if you're playing in the public because people are just assholes out there with that. But yeah, it's kind of getting to the point where I'm afraid that it's going to become oversaturated and collapse.
Well, you say that it's a lot on the Steam, and yeah, it is. It's huge. It's rampant on Steam, especially in early access. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But even on the console side, it's getting pretty huge. I mean, H1Z1's coming soon. I think DayZ's coming out soon. This War of Mine, State of Decay, Don't Starve. I mean, there are so many of these games out there, whether they're, top-down 2D, open world, whatever. There's a ton.
Yeah, well, this War of Mine is a little different because that's more single player. But yeah, it's a pretty decent game. But as far as the whole zombie thing was a huge thing for a while, and I think that's what started the whole survival kind of genre. And a lot of H1Z1, DayZ, and those started coming out, and then they started thinking, well, all right, we did zombies. Now what else could we do for survival? And here comes all the others, Ark, now Conan, other things. So I'm sure they're more going to come out.
And we forgot Minecraft, one of the biggest of all time. Didn't even think about that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Or Trove now, following that MMO
Trove,
Minecraft.
Yeah, MMO voxel Minecraft style. Yeah. The other aspect of Conan, along with being yet another survival game, even though it's great. It's really enjoyable. I see myself putting a ton of hours in this one as well. The other aspect of this is another early access game. So the other question we have, along with the question if the survival genre is too flooded, we kind of made this a little two-parter tonight. Early access, has this been good or bad? The flood of early access games along with all these survival games, and they seem to kind of go hand in hand. We're seeing a lot of them happening together. A lot of these survival games are going early access. What do you guys think? I mean, Conan to me is very polished, but we've seen some games that aren't, some games that just never finish. Is this good for?
This is just a new term for beta, but instead of making a separate beta branch on their code, they're just releasing the code to you as it is right now, and then they're constantly working on it and then issuing new patches as they go. So I think this is just a fancy word for beta, and then they're charging you for it.
But it's at a discounted price at least, which is the benefit that I look at it. I can get a game like Conan. I'd have paid $60 for it if it was a full release game.
Right, yeah.
You got to look at how they support it, too. I mean, Ark did a pretty good job of constantly updating, adding new content, new maps, new animals to get. So for $30, you got a game. I mean, obviously there was some optimization issues, some other issues going on with it, but they kept on top of it. And they're slowly making it better, and they just constantly add new content. And I think for $30 or something like that, to be the guinea pig, it's not that bad. But if it's a game where they don't constantly update, they don't work on, you don't get the releases, that's an issue. That's a problem.
Or if they release it for $60 claiming it's a full game and you really get what seems to be an early access title like No Man's Sky. This is kind of something we brushed on when that whole fiasco happened last year. How that felt like early access, but we were paying $60 for it. That's where the outcry came. I think we were kind of in consensus. Those of us that had played it would have felt better about it if it had been $20-$30 as an early access title. This one's $30. I don't feel so bad. I mean, I feel like I got a hell of a game for $30.
Look at Elite Dangerous is the same way. I mean, look what all they added to it. You got originally for $30, you got just a basic little game, and they've added so much more. They even have expansions to it now, and it's still early access.
Ark was the same way with the expansion. It's still technically an early access, isn't it, John?
Yeah, they were talking about holiday. Now I think they're talking about late spring.
Just never coming out early access.
Yeah, just gonna keep it in early access forever.
But the nice thing is it keeps going on sale. I mean, it's about down to what, $10 again?
But I don't think they mind. I mean, like to them, I mean, they may not have sold as many copies at $60. You know, that was such a new concept, especially to the Xbox side. That was a whole new genre, and how would they have done at $60? And if they would have initially launched and had issues, they would have tanked and had been like the No Man's Sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think with certain games too, it gives you a chance to test the market a little bit better. I don't know what Ark would have been if it had just been a $60 game,
Well,
and not a $30 price point.
At the release, when they released it for early access, it would have been a disaster because you couldn't get on the servers. It didn't work. You had major problems. I mean, they addressed those, but
and I think what early access for a title like Ark did, what it accomplished, was that a lot of people jumped in because, hey, $30, cheap game, boom, everybody gets into it. Or, you know, $20 on the Steam sale, or 15 or 20 on Xbox sales at certain points. And people jump in, and what that does is that feeds, you know, a good developer, a good publisher and developer will take that money and put it into the game. You see that with all the stuff you get for Ark, and you're continuing to get. And with how fast the makers of Conan are responding, I think we're going to see that as well there. So the good games, there are the good early access titles, are taking that money, pushing it into it, keeping it going, keeping things developing, keeping things evolving in that game for the money you get.
And it seems like Conan's really pumping out this stuff. How many updates do you guys have to that server already? It's constantly having to be rebooted.
Like 3 or 4.
Four
releases.
At least four at a minimum. There were
crazy.
2 today.
Mm-hmm.
There was one earlier today, and then one at 6:00 tonight, which is great. And what I like about those is they've been small little updates. That Ark, what drove me crazy with Ark is every time there was an update, it was like 1.5 gigs. And they were just very large updates.
And wipe your servers. And
and then we had server issues, and they had to reload the mods. And I mean, maybe we're going to run into that with Conan as well. But so far, I like how they're pushing out small ones.
I'm going to cut that clip out too.
The patch is the only thing they're pushing out that's small. But
Digital. He's a grower.
Yeah, he's a grower, not a shower.
Well, I touched it; it didn't grow.
Hey, now.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Some of the screenshots. Oh my God! In our Discord channel. But yeah, I mean, we've had our fun definitely with this game. I mean, both in the immature aspect and the actual gameplay as intended. I think it's a little more battle driven, a little more survival driven, I think. So I enjoy that. So, but yeah, I mean, early access I think is good overall, but you still gotta be careful. It's like we said in the previous show about games in general. You got to let the buyer beware. You got to do your research.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it goes back when we're talking about the survival genre. If you search early access in Steam, you will once again get a shit ton of games listed because there's a ton of games that are doing it this way now.
But I'll tell you what, you get a lot of shovelware in there too, a lot of garbage in those early access ones. Jim Sterling, the game journalist and reviewer, he's got a huge video series on just shitty early access games that are just a complete waste of money.
So I just went to Steam, and when I go to the games tab and it comes to drop down box, free to play, number 2, early access. Second thing on the list, and then demos. So that shows.
Not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprised at all. So yeah, I mean, this will be an early access title. I think we'll be talking about for quite a long time. Like we have Ark. I mean, we've been talking about that for what, good year and a half now, between PC and, well, since the show's been around, I guess. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. We'll keep you updated. I'm sure we'll be talking about it in the next year.
Yeah. Further research, since I do research and I prepare.
That's a lie.
Early access. I'm in that section for Steam right now, and I went to top sellers. 47 pages of games.
Like we said, let the buyer beware. Got to be careful.
I mean, this shouldn't be a problem as long as they continue to work on it and update the thing. If you're getting early access, if they're committed to actually releasing a polished game, I think that's a big fear you would have buying into this. If you're buying Conan, you're promised all the stuff. Will you actually see it? Will you see all the stuff you think you would see in Ark? Will they ever fix the graphics or the optimization or something?
Yeah, and that's Ark's biggest problem right now is optimization. It still has issues there. I feel that Conan's a lot more polished in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also playing on a private server, like where you're not seeing as many people, or how would it run?
Well, I see
public
glitches
with
on my
40 or
private
70.
server here on my server in my own house. There are glitches on that still with Ark. There are still optimization problems with that.
Yeah, I'd have to say the first 3 days it's been a pretty smooth ride for the most part, minus just updating the server because of patches. So they're doing a good job at least.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this baby up then. I think this is going to be the closest we get to actually hitting our goal of an hour.
Finally.
Yeah, you know what? Just for that, I'm going to take 20 minutes on the outro.
Yeah, no shit. Normal.
All right. First off, I want to welcome some new members. We did have a handful, with the January post-holiday lull. We haven't had as many as we've had lately. Handful of guys. Actually, we've had more coming back, I think, of late that haven't been around for a while. So seen a few guys like Krakos. We haven't seen him for a while. Welcome.
I need him to clarify. I was test to see if he listens to this or not. I want to know sometime if it's Krakos, because I go Krakos. So we'll know if that
I said
bastard will be
Krakos and he
listening.
didn't correct me, so I don't know.
You could
He
just
didn't
ask
correct
him.
me when I said Krakos. No. This is a test to see if the son of a bitch is listening to the podcast. That's what we're going to start doing. People tell me
Call
to
one of
listen
our 5
to it.
viewers a son of a bitch.
Yeah, wait. I like this idea. Like, these people tell us all the time, good show, guys, listen to it. We're going to start putting nuggets in there and see if these fuckers are paying attention.
Okay. I thought I was going to take a while in the outro. I actually called him Arlyle, which is his PS4 name once. So, anyway, next show will be in 2 weeks. The 16th, the Valentine's Day hangover.
You almost got away with it, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch, you almost got away with it. So the first night playing Conan, I'm in my little hut trying to build it and put a door on it. And Johnny has to go tell Didge that the server needs to be reset because he can't get in. And so Digital goes and resets the server, and Johnny forgets to mention that me and Farmer are still in the server. You almost got away with it. And I told him that night that I was going to bitch him out about it on the podcast, and I almost forgot. All right, moving on.
Jesus. I am not taking the blame for how long this outro is lasting. Facebook page, facebook.com/Grim Reaper Gamers. Also, remember our forums are at forums.grimreapergamers.com, and obviously our website is grimreapergamers.com. Jammer, what's the tag on Twitter?
grgamers.com, and spell out the .dot.
And don't forget, we're also on Twitch TV, or twitch.tv/Grim Reaper Gamers, and player.me. Search for Grim Reaper Gamers. All right. Jammer, Lala, Grex, thanks, guys, for being on the show. Another good show. Kind of went on a decent little clip for once. Maybe we're getting the hang of this.
No, we are not.
Tell you what, why don't you tell everybody where we can find the podcast, Lala? Tell them where they can find it before we go.
On the internet.
On the internet. There we go. Thank you. Specifically, Google.Play, iTunes, and, of course, our YouTube channels where you can see our old video shows, especially that great episode number 10, and catch our audio still on YouTube.
What minute?
All right.
14 minutes in.
14 minutes in, episode 10. Classic. It's even better. None of those guys are still here.
All right. So again, thanks guys for being on the show. Thanks everybody for listening. I'm Johnny Hustler saying, take care, stay safe, and don't game alone. Good night, everybody.